What's up, everybody? So if you've watched any of my recent videos about making a murderer in Stephen Avery's case, you probably know by now that Ken Kratz has popped back up online. He is back on social media. He is back on X. He is at Kratz Uncancelled, and he has been very engaging with a lot of people answering questions, answering their questions that they have about the case. Now, for me, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with Ken Kratz. It's extremely interesting for me to see his point of view on things since he was there from the very beginning. You don't need to like what he says, you don't need to agree with what he says, but it is interesting to see what he does have to say since a lot of people out there believe that he is part of the problem. He was a part of the alleged cover-up. He is one of the reasons why Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery sit in prison to this day. Allegedly, of course, that is a big narrative that is out there, and a lot of those people that do believe that have been asking him questions, and he has been answering them. So if you've ever wanted to ask Ken Kratz a question, now's your time. He's at Kratz Uncancelled. Give him a follow, and give me a follow as well, at Allegedly a Show. Now we're going to go over a couple of things that Ken Kratz has posted online recently over the past couple of days. A lot of people have been asking me to keep this up because they don't have the X platform and they have no intention of getting it, but they want to know what old Kenny Boy has to say. So I'm going to keep this up. The response has been incredible. Thank you so much for that. So here we go. Here's what Ken Kratz had to say recently on X. I'll put it up on the screen for you as well. As much as I hate to bite when both Zellner Law and Jerry Buting personally attacked me, ... Jerry, you were asked years ago on the Dr. Phil show about your support for the 15 women who came forward to allege some kind of sexual misconduct and needed to be reminded that all 15 of those claims were investigated and found to lack merit. Fast forward to 2024, when the famed defense attorney still claims that investigation into those 15 women led to my being a disgraced prosecutor and suspended. Question: if you had a client who was accused of 15 wrongful acts and all 15 were dismissed, would you still claim the takeaway to be he was investigated for 15 vile things? Or would the obvious revelation be they were all dismissed? Hashtag hypocrite. Your open disdain for prosecutor Ken Kratz was made clear in your book. Is he talking about himself in third person? He is absolutely talking about himself in third person, like he's The Rock. Your disdain for prosecutor Ken Kratz was made clear. Why doesn't he say me? Your disdain for me was made clear in your book and your world-speaking tour. And your feelings get hurt because I noted in my trial journal you pulled at trial, hashtag hypocrite. Then Ken Kratz posted this. Pretty soon we will hear who burned Teresa Halbach's electronics in Stephen's own burn barrel, since that required someone watch over the 4+ hours it took to burn them. Zellner Law and Jerry Buting won't comment on this at all, probably saving the electronics answer for Making a Murderer 3. As everyone knows, Making a Murderer excluded the burned electronics totally. Perhaps the At Making a Murderer filmmakers can explain why. If Zellner and Buting want to play the actual innocence game, they have better have answers for all of the evidence, not just low-hanging fruit. Then that was followed up by a question from TikTok Manitowoc, who has a ton of information on the case. Give them a follow at @TManitowoc. I will link their X account in the description below. Make sure to give them a follow. Just an unreal source of information on the case. They respond with, wait, are you trying to tell us that it took longer to burn a cell phone and camera than it did to completely eviscerate a human body? Are you really trying to do that? Also, if bones were dumped, why wouldn't her cell phone be? And then Ken Kratz responds with, in Stephen's burn barrel, Brendan Dassey gave detailed information on many topics, including those scattered bones. He told investigators he saw Stephen Avery putting burned bones from his burn pit into a 5-gallon bucket and deposited them in Rodin's pit by driving the golf cart. No claims that were coerced and fed to him. He drew diagrams, corrected interrogators when they misunderstood. At least 13 times in the interview did he resist suggestion and correct them. So what about all of the details Brendan gave? Just ignore them. You can't if you're claiming actual innocence. Zellner Law has a very successful arrangement going. She takes an exoneration case pro bono and then requires her downtrodden client to promise she gets the fees when/if he sues the state after he's released. Representing the indignant can be very lucrative, but what about incentive? Does this give Zellner Law to find new evidence? Ask Ryan Ferguson as an example. Ask Jerry Buting if he's ever heard of the same lawyer working on an exoneration case then showing up at the federal civil suit to collect 1/3 of the judgment. Is this legal? Is this ethical? Ken Kratz coming at Jerry Buting and Kathleen Zellner hard there. I will comment on that last part. I know if it were me and I was in prison for 35, 36, 37 years, whatever it is right now, total, and I was innocent, I would give the person that was getting me out of prison probably anything they wanted just to get my freedom, just to get back home. He says here 1/3 of the judgment. If I got $100 million, I would easily give Kathleen Zellner 30, 40, 50 million. I don't care. That person worked such a long time for nothing to get my freedom. I wouldn't be free without them. So of course I would give them something. 1/3, what? Who cares? That person got me home. That person got me back to my family, got back to my loved ones. You don't think they deserve something for all the hard work they did dealing with people like Ken Kratz and the state as much as they probably have to? Of course they should get something. Because if they don't win, they don't get anything. So yeah, 1/3 of 100 million, I'm just using that as an example. 1/3 of 100 million, take the 33.3333 million. Who cares? Take it, do whatever you want, retire, have fun. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's legal or ethical, but I would definitely sign papers saying you get 1/3 of whatever it is I get. You're the reason I'm free. I wouldn't be free without you. What do you think of these statements and responses by Ken Kratz? Let me know. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you again soon.